Hi, welcome to Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. Get ready to revitalize your mind, body, and soul. We're here to inspire women who are looking to break free from old patterns and ideas to create a life of increased confidence and improved health. Say goodbye to limiting beliefs and hello to new possibilities. So kick back, get ready to have some fun, and let's dive in. We'll uncover tools and insights that can help you build a life that's truly nourishing, body and soul. Hi, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Tracy.
And I'm Victoria.
And we're glad that you're here with us.
Yes.
So I got this email today from a writer friend of mine who I've never met her in person, but I love her. And she was saying that this is very much, I know better than this too, because I talk about, and I've talked to people about, take your wins. It's important to acknowledge,
Yeah.
and it's important to stop and notice and not go too fast through that. Her email was about she celebrating because a new friend of hers, she just moved, a new friend of hers said, we should go to lunch when you publish your next book. And she's like, that just like never even occurred to me. That stopping to celebrate. And I thought, oh, she's like, tell me I'm not the only one. Like, you are not the only one. I teach about this and I still forget to do it. We were going to have a launch party when we started this. And here we are.
Yes.
6 months later. Have we had a launch party?
No,
No,
I forgot we were having one. So there we go.
So it's like, and the thing that makes this, my husband is even way worse about this than I am. So here's my reminder and yours to not only take your wins, but celebrate them.
Yeah. Yes. At least toast or something. I love toasting. Toasting's like my favorite thing.
Not the kind you eat.
No, that's not
Make
anything.
toast.
Yes.
No. Not that. Make a toast.
Yes. Make a toast with
Yes.
somebody,
Yes.
preferably.
Yes.
Right.
And if you don't have somebody to make it with, do it in the mirror with yourself.
Yeah. Ching ching. Tiki tiki la la. I took a belly dancing class, and I remember the dance, but we also did this like thing where it was like ching ching, tiki tiki la la, ching ching ching, tiki tiki la la, while we were doing that thing.
Okay.
So anyway, I usually use that as my toast when we do it because people laugh and whatever. It's weird, appropriately weird, non-offensive.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway,
So yes, I know better than to just keep going with life and not stopping celebrating, but
all right, well, I know better. You probably somebody's going to relate out there. So I was maybe not to this part, but I got sick last year, really, really sick in terms of not being able to eat. And I got down to a size that I hadn't been in like 10 years. So, and I didn't buy clothes because I know me and my like yo-yo just exists. I'm trying to
especially when you're sick,
eliminate it.
and that's why you're losing weight.
Yes.
When you get healthy, you're going to gain it again.
Yes. So I didn't get rid of any clothes and I didn't hardly buy anything, but I bought one skirt that was from Nordstrom and it was like a faux leather skirt and it's super, super cute. But like it needed some alterations. It was too long, I'm short. So whatever, there was some things. So I didn't do anything to it and it still has its tags on it. I am feeling much better and I am eating. And so I have gained weight and that skirt does not fit. And it's Nordstrom, so I can take it back. It still has its tags, everything. Yes, I am bummed too. But there's part of me and it hasn't fit. And I keep thinking, oh, I'm going to lose weight. And I think I'm not going to get down to that size. Probably. There's like a probably.
Unless you're ill again.
Yes, unless I'm ill again. I know better, but why did I just briefly have a thing going like, oh, yeah, that illness that took away all that weight. Yeah, I know better, but see, I'm just barely on the path. And I haven't turned the skirt yet, which I should, and maybe get another skirt that fits. Who knows?
There you go.
So yeah.
That's a really big diet culture thing is the have goal clothes.
Yeah.
How about we have clothes that fit us?
Yes. Yeah. Me though, I'm so like this. I really am. Yeah. I had a lot of sickness and things and I lose weight and then I gain it back and so like now if I had to give away the clothes that didn't fit, I don't know.
Well, yeah.
It's a mess. So I keep them, which is great for my closet. Really, you should at least put them in another closet or something, the ones that don't fit. Because I'm looking at them now and I'm like, oh, that pretty skirt. Oh, this, oh, that.
Oh man, when we moved 2 years ago, there was a closet. We had an extra bedroom that I commandeered the closet of, and it was all clothes that were awesome and that I knew I was going to fit into again.
Yeah.
And I finally, when we moved, I went, nope, these are great. Somebody else can have them. I just
did that help? Did that feel good, or
yeah.
did that feel like, oh, I'm letting go of my like goal in my head? That
No, it wasn't the goal. It was like, girl, be real. These have been hanging here and you not wearing them. And yes, you have lovely memories attached to them. And that's fine. Those memories aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Get rid of these dresses.
And you were good with that.
Yeah.
It did feel good, or was
yes,
it kind of still a little...
it felt because I am very much a person who, truth is not always the most fun thing. But I am very, very much, and it's not like I'm immediate about this, and I have to talk myself through it, but it's like, I just want the truth. I want the truth, which is why I have to remind myself that a lot of people were happy with the little lies we tell ourselves, or the little things that we overlook, or whatever. And so it was very much for me a moment of, okay, I'm really owning the truth here. And so that felt really good. It was not oh, I'm giving up on this and that. It was just like, you know what? Who was I kidding? That and some of them, my daughter she's like, oh, I said, anything in that closet you can wear. Anything in that closet you can wear without asking, because I'm not wearing it. Yeah. And at that point we moved, it's like, and I'm not moving it. I'm not going to do what I would have to do to get to that size. Would it be humanly possible? Obviously I've set size before. Was it healthy for me? Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think I can get there again, but it won't be healthy. Yeah. Won't be in any healthy way. Yeah. But diet culture says thin is good. How can you say thin is not healthy? Or it says also beautiful clothes exist in one size. Yes. And there that is. Yeah. So, which isn't true now. It's not. Beautiful clothes exist in all sizes. Yeah. It is harder to find them in larger sizes, but they do exist. Yeah. So, yep. I think that's something all of us, or many of us, struggle with. Holding on to that. Yeah. That's that. If only I know that I can. I know. But I was going to go somewhere really great with that skirt. That's the thing. And the super cute top. I was like, that would make such a cute, like, date outfit. So go get a skirt that fits. And you have some cute shirts. So then you can go on a date and get a cute outfit. Yeah. And then you'll actually have memories of it and not intentions of it. Yes. I haven't been on a date in years. Well, I guess it's been 2 years now. Which sounds as years, but yeah. Anyway, yeah. So the fact that that was even going to be a possibility anyway was probably pretty far. Physical therapist accepted. I've talked about it 3 times. Bad. All righty. Okay. So we talked a couple weeks ago about strategies for Halloween. Yes. And so today we're doing this a little further ahead of Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving tends to be a holiday that people prepare for a lot more. There are a lot more intricate plans made around Thanksgiving. And so we wanted to kind of get this ball rolling a little further out from that holiday. Can I just say how absolutely bonkers it is that we are talking about Thanksgiving already? Like, it is insane to me. I feel like my grandma when she was like, time just goes so fast, but really, like, what the heck? Like, this year has been done. Oh, I have often said, when I'm trying to place a time frame that something happened, I'll say, well, I think it was probably a couple of years ago, which means it was somewhere between 5 and 10 years ago. Exactly. Yeah. It's just crazy. Yeah. So, but here we are. take a couple of breaths, blink a few times, and we'll be at Thanksgiving tables.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So here we go. So Thanksgiving is a lot about food. There's a lot about food, a lot of food traditions, a lot of food, everything. We'll talk about that a little bit, but we did cover a lot of that with dealing with the candy at Halloween. And so those are the same principles still apply. Although you may not want to just not buy your Thanksgiving food until the day before, because that's something. One of the strategies was don't buy it until the day before.
Oh,
no. You don't want to do that for Thanksgiving because you might not be able to get it, but whatever.
Yeah. Plus, it just takes a while.
Yeah.
Plus, I think Thanksgiving, like, it's imbued with all kinds of emotions that are. It's not. I mean, like, it makes Halloween look like Halloween light because I mean, just. You've got all kinds of expectations, what it's supposed to taste like, or what the table's going to be. When some people obsess over what the table looks like with their Instagram in one hand and like going out and buying dishes and things. So it's a
there's more to it. It's more complex.
Yes, it's a complicated. Like everybody I've talked to is like, that's one of my favorite holidays because there's no, there's no gift buying. There's no, whatever attached to it. Thanksgiving. But I think Thanksgiving is kind of
I think it's more layered. It's a lot more layered than Halloween. Because there are many people you grew up in the country.
Yeah.
My daughter-in-law grew up in the country. They don't have a lot of Halloween traditions. She didn't go trick-or-treating because they lived out in the country.
Yeah. I mean, I went.
And so it was not, and there weren't a lot of Halloween parties that were going on. So it's just not as complex.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving. And there's just a lot with it. There's a lot of food stuff. There's a lot of family stuff. There's a lot of traditions.
Yeah. There's a lot. And there's a lot of sitting down at the table with maybe people that are all your family. And that's who you always have Thanksgiving with. But more often than not, there's going to be people at that table that aren't your family with different expectations and different views on things. And, all of a sudden, somebody's quoting scripture and the other person's yelling about who even knows what. I mean, I do know what, but I'm not going to say, but it's just it's a strange thing if you're sitting down at somebody else's table. There's traditions that they do, and I think this is common, but we just never did it in my family, but go around and say something they're thankful for, which is always interesting, except for trying to come up with something new. People are like, oh, I'm thankful for this food and the people that prepared it and whatever. But by the time it gets to you, you're rocking your brain. What am I thankful for? Trees.
Yeah.
Leaves, beautiful leaves. Yeah.
I think that's a lovely tradition that a lot of people do. But for me,
a lot of people do that.
A lot of people do, and I think it's beautiful, and I think it's awesome. I think it's wonderful. And I just imagine what it'd be like if I tried to implement something like that in my household.
Oh gosh, would they revolt?
They'd be like,
"Yeah,
come on."
Yeah.
But it's very much. I live in a family much more of doers than of talkers.
So that makes sense.
Whenever I try to have them put things into words, there's often a lot of resistance. So these sitting around the table saying what we're thankful for is not something that we do, because it's just one of those I think is a lovely tradition. But
if that's your tradition and you go to a table that doesn't, you're like, wait, what?
Aren't you people thankful for?
Yeah, what the heck's the matter with these people?
Yeah. So let's start off with the food situation first, because I mean, this is a big food holiday. And in a lot of ways, I think as hard as this might seem sometimes to deal with, I think it's actually easier to deal with than the people part of it.
The
people part
of it by a long shot.
So a lot of the food situations, you can go back to the Halloween strategies we talked about, as far as just really, if you're concerned about what you're going to eat and what that's going to do to you, and you're stressed out about that, just go back to allow yourself to eat and use all of your senses. And there's a lot, man. I think at the sitting table, there's a lot of aromas. There's a lot of many times there's a lot of beauty on the table. There's so many ways, and you're just, you're often with people who that you love being around. There's laughter and there's conversation and there's all these things that that help make that food more enjoyable. So let's just
and more so than even Halloween, because Halloween you can have candy and you got everything's candy.
Yeah.
But like for Thanksgiving, I think even me who has like problems with just eating food without guilt can go, all right, this is one day and this is the food, like it's easy for me to just go, you know what, this is one day, I can eat whatever I want. One day is not going to make or break anything that's going on in my body. So,
and the more we learn to eat intuitively, the less potent that becomes. I've talked before about Thanksgiving. It used to be, like many people, it's like, oh, I'm just not going to worry about it on Thanksgiving. And then I would end up just overeating. And then I'm not comfortable. And then, that whole thing, which came from the restrictive mindset the day before Thanksgiving and the day after Thanksgiving. And all the other 364 days of the year, not Christmas, 363 days of the year. But now that I don't have the food rules that I used to. Thanksgiving, I don't feel like, oh, this is the one day, and so I gotta eat everything I can. That's gone. And so I just really, I love many of the things that we serve at our table at Thanksgiving. But I don't feel the obligation to eat as much of it as I can, because I know I'm gonna be good again tomorrow.
And I think if you're going somewhere too, often you're asked to bring something. So it would be like, it's good to pick the thing that you love the most that you're going to miss. Like I always take whatever I'm asked to bring. And then I like the ocean spray, cranberry sauce
gel
from the from the can. And like most places I've ever gone are like, no, we make this.
We make it fresh.
Fresh, homemade, whatever. So I have a pretty dish and I put I mush it up and I put it in. I'm like, this is a family recipe that I thought I would have at Thanksgiving, and put it on the table. And people usually like it because it reminds them of home. So anyway, if there's something that you absolutely love, even though you've asked to bring like some stuffing arrangement or whatever, it's always like, no one's gonna be upset if you bring your favorite thing. Which hopefully is better than like a can of things, which is easily identifiable once they taste. So anyway,
so let's kind of go on to the family, the people side of it. There's so many angles to go at this from. One being that we feel like there's a certain way that Thanksgiving should look, and it should, all of your family gathered around a table, and it can be very hard if that's what we're thinking it's supposed to look like, and it doesn't look like that. Whether it's
it can look like that, and that's a problem.
And so the family side of it can be really complicated, and just dealing with what that, and honestly a lot of that comes from, and with all of these, with the food and with the people side of it, a lot of the pain that can happen, a lot of the stress that can happen is because we have expectations. And it's when realities button up against our expectations and they're not matching, that's where the pain, the stress, the irritation can come from. If we have this uncle that insists on talking politics in a room full of people that have varying views, and we know these, we can go to that dinner and go, George is going to be doing this again, and it just irritates me because the man doesn't know what he's talking about, and or we can go, Uncle George is going to be Uncle George, and whatever you do, you Uncle George, and manage our expectations, and because that's where a lot of the pain comes in. Whether we're gathering with family or whether we're not with our family.
And you can run through scenarios. If you have the aunt that's always asking you when you're getting married, why you aren't married, why there aren't grandchildren or whatever. If you know that aunt, just like do a little dress rehearsal before you go, knowing that, okay, this is going to happen. This is what I can say. whatever.
Yeah. And
Mind your business.
What feels true to you? I mean, yeah, there's a lot of ways to handle it. And
Mind your business is not anything I've ever said, by the way.
But for some people,
Yeah,
that's going to feel what's most natural. And that's what's going to be getting her to mind her own business.
Yeah.
So we can deflect and just kind of go, oh, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm just so excited about da 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 da, and just divert the conversation. Or we can just go, as soon as you see her, go, I know what you're going to ask me. You're going to ask me this and this and this, right?
Yeah.
And then laugh it off and don't answer. Or we can get snarky and go, honey, you asked me that many a time.
Yeah.
I will not answer you this year because you already have the answer from the last 15 years.
I'm going to take Tracy, like push a button. This is snarky. This is my snarky response. This is my mean response. This is my sweet response. Bum, bum, bum.
Or, you could just approach it with your, well, when you figure that out, you let me know because I want to know. So there's so many ways that we can approach that situation, and we can decide ahead of time what feels most comfortable to us. And but then there's another layer of that. It's like, well, if mom was expecting me to respond a certain way to Aunt Sally, and I don't respond the way mom expects to Aunt Sally, then I'm going to be in trouble with mom. And that's where the complexity comes in. And so we can just, really think if we know that there's situations that are going to be difficult for us, thinking through ahead of time. And this is really one place where giving people grace.
Yes.
In major doses.
Also, I'm going through this thing where I am not feeling I'm having some health issues that I don't feel in control of. And so the thing that I've been doing lately, and I think it applies here, is I've been trying very, very hard to go, okay, what is this teaching me? Like, let me get here instead of like live here, because living here has not been super fun. But let me get here and say, what is this teaching me? Like, what is Uncle George yelling? Like, what is this teaching me? It's teaching me that he clearly is afraid of the future, or he's got issues with whatever, what is this? Just remove yourself just a bit.
Take a step back. Yeah.
And so I think that's been helping me a lot. And I think it would help in this situation like this. Yeah.
And if family complexities are an issue for you, then look at it as the best school you could ever be enrolled in at learning to give people grace.
Yes, that's good.
The most valuable skills I think that you can have in life.
Yes, the best skills. Yes, that is good. Giving people grace. And if you get together with your family and it's just super fun, then you know to be grateful, like extra grateful, because we're talking about scenarios that are pretty common for other people too.
Yeah. And then when the family and the food thing overlaps, and you have somebody telling you that, oh gosh, are you sure you want another helping of potatoes, honey?
Yeah.
Or you're having somebody, oh, here, you need to eat more. You didn't have pie. You need to have pie. It's not Thanksgiving without pie, is it? Right? No, it's not. Exactly. You need to have pie. So there's food pushers, there's food police in abundance at Thanksgiving.
Yes, for sure.
So again, these are things that we can just realize that those comments are not about us. It's about them and where they are, and we can allow them to be where they are without it getting on us.
Yes.
It only becomes an issue for us when we let it be our issue. Other than that, we can just go, thank you. I'm aware. I'll have pie another time, I promise. I promise. And I'm pretty sure there has been somebody in this world who has had a Thanksgiving Day and has not had pie, and they live to tell.
Yeah, yes. I hate pumpkin pie. Like, so my mom will make pie for me, just me. Like, if she's there, she'll make pie just for me. But apple pie she'll make. But I hate pumpkin pie. So I've been in places where like I've had to take like this much pumpkin pie because I'm forced to eat it.
Slather it in whipped cream.
Yeah. I don't know why I don't like pumpkin pie. I just don't. Yeah. So anyway, so there is somebody. I try to get out of it.
It was not just pumpkin pie.
I'm gluten intolerant, and I can't have that crust. I'm super sorry. Yeah, no, I'm so sorry. It's really okay. I'm full.
Because there are people who, if people are pushing food on you, very likely they have a really strong attachment to the food, and they're wanting you to have the experience that they want to have. And so just, just recognizing that kind of thing. And
I'm an evangelist for cranberries. Big time. I think they should go with every single bite of everything on your plate. Yeah. Cran evangelist. That's me. Ocean spray.
Ocean spray. Feel free to take that phrase and run with it.
We're not being sponsored by Ocean Spray, by the way.
No,
not at all. Anyway.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
We're not being sponsored by anybody. I'd be very hard pressed to ever even consider being sponsored by any food, anything.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
A whole nother path.
Cheers, everyone.
She's celebrating.
I'm celebrating our wins here.
So with this, a lot of it is managing our expectations and just really being realistic about that. And then I think the biggest key is looking at the key is in the name of the holiday, Thanksgiving. There's always something, no matter what your Thanksgiving table looks like, if it's just you, if you're working on Thanksgiving and you're not with any family, whatever's going on, whether your Thanksgiving looks the exact way that you picture it, whether it looks some sort of other way, whether it looks nothing at all like you would ever hope it to look like, there's still always something to find to be grateful for.
Yes.
Always. And if we can focus on that, then we can have, no matter what the circumstance of our holiday is, we can have a good holiday. We can live in that moment of gratitude. We can find those things and we can learn from it. We can learn from whatever our situation is, be it wonderful and ideal and perfect, or somewhere, anywhere along that scale, from there down, or around, or in or out, or whatever.
Yes.
So with that, we say happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Whatever you want it to look like, whatever it does look like, take that day to really nourish your body and your soul.
Yep.
Hey, if you want to help us grow this podcast that we're having fun doing, like and subscribe.
And comment.
Oh, yes.
Please comment. We will comment back.
Yes, we will. Hey, it's Tracy. If this was helpful and you'd like more, follow me on Instagram at tlastel.nourishingbodyansoul, or on Facebook or YouTube at Nourishing Body and Soul, or you can find my website at nourishingbodysoul.com. Thanks for tuning in to Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. Before we wrap up, we just want to remind you that the information we share in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended for medical advice. While we hope you find our discussions helpful, we strongly recommend that you seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, exercise routine, or any other aspect of your health. We also want to make it clear that the host, guests, and producers of this podcast are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences that may result from the use of any information or suggestion discussed in this podcast. We care about your well-being, but we can't take responsibility for individual outcomes. By listening to this podcast, you agree to indemnify and hold harmless the hosts, guests, and producers of this podcast from and against any and all claims, damages, liabilities, costs, and expenses arising from your use of the information provided in this podcast. We're so grateful for your support, and we hope you keep listening and learning with us. Thanks.